Well, hello everybody. It's Thursday morning and I got a date with you. I see you already here. Carol, hello. Reno, Lexi, Karina from Paul. Oh, Paul. Yes. I saw a very interesting clip this morning, but it's kind of X-rated. About a great comedian in Cape Town who said, you all moved to Cape Town to see the mountain, and now if you're going to stay under lockdown in level 4 and you're still not going to be allowed to go out, well, if you don't have a view of the mountain, you kind of like stuck. But terrible what people come up with. But guys, here we are. It's 11 o'clock on a Thursday morning, and I'm delighted that you're all here with me. Who else? Odette, hello. Sandy, also from Cape Town. Good morning. Leslie from East London. Vanessa, I don't know where you're from, but good morning. Caleb, good morning. Andy, LaRusha, Carol, Debbie, and Serena. Trish Mudley, good morning, good morning. I had somebody here who was from their granddaughter. Alexis, you and your granddaughter, mwah, make sure that she becomes a gardener, and she only becomes a gardener because of you and the things that you instill in them, and it's from that size. My folks, my mom and dad, that's what we did on weekends. We lived out in the bundus, and you couldn't just, even although we had bicycles, our friends were too far to ride on the bicycles, so we really lived out in the sticks, and so you couldn't just get dropped off to go and have a play date. So what we did on weekends, we spent time with mom and dad in the garden, and that's where it all started. And if you don't instill in those informative years this beautiful hobby, which you and I all love, they're going to miss out on something really, really special. But it's not too late. It's not too late, even if you are a plant murderer or a plant killer, or you send them up to the compost heap in the sky earlier than their said day. It's okay. It really is okay, because that's why we're here. We're here to help you. So guys, today we are talking succulents. Ha! Okay. All right. If you've watched and followed me, you'll know that they are just the thing that, it's my happy place. And you're currently in my happy place. We built this out of bits and pieces, secondhand things, a little while back, and I'm still finishing it off. A gardener's work never ends. So I'm still adding bits, and I'm still getting to know which light works best for which plant. So I'm still moving things around a lot. And I guess that's what us gardeners do, because the search of perfection is never ever reached, and that is a gardener's job, right up until the day that we turn into compost. But guys, the place that you're in this morning, and it's an absolute honor and a privilege to have you share the space with me, because that's what I love most, is being able to share. And in behind me here are my beautiful succulents. I think I got hooked on them, sure, many, many, many years ago, when I was a mere seedling in gardening. And I don't know all the names. No, I don't. There are other gardeners out there who are not professional gardeners who know way more than me. They know the names, they know the hybrid names. And do I consider that a failure? No, it's just because this is what I love. I love them. I love hanging out with them. I love looking at this. Mace, come and have a look here. Mason, by the way, is behind camera. I need to thank my technical team. Mace is there. I've got Megs on the other side. I've got Warwick in my office, which is now turned into like a minefield of cables. You don't even want to walk in there because you'll kill yourself first with the cables. But never mind, that's why they've made it really cool, and they're able to show you some extra snippets. But look inside here. Isn't that beautiful? You just can't stop looking. You can't, because it's organized, it's concentric, the colors are just so spectacular. They kind of draw you in. And a succulent is that plant that I reckon if it could talk, it would say, take more pictures, because every angle is different. Every time you look at it, you see something new. And that for me is just spectacular. From large giants in the garden to small little teeny weeny. I mean, look at this. This is an echeveria, by the way. Most of us know it as a rock rose. And this is also an echeveria. But look how new it is. Look at it. As big as as the current day 50-cent coin. Not the old 1 rand coin. As big as that. And look how beautiful it is. So you get clustered forms, you get trailing forms, you get those which can enjoy a bit of shade, those which really enjoy the sun. But what's most important is that you just choose whatever you love. It's eye candy. So when deciding to go out and buy your succulents or get them, just do it. Don't worry about all the technical stuff. Choose one that you're going to love and get them together and start playing. Because that's how I started. I just started playing. And we learned by trial and error, but today we're going to give you a whole lot of tips on how to make sure that you get them right, all right? I want to see who else has just logged on, so give me a sec here. Reno, Marika's here. My bees blokey fit blunt. Ooh, boy, I can't do it. Okay, we're going to get to the questions a little bit later, and a lot of them, I'm very sure that I'm going to have answered them in some of the things that I'm going to be teaching you this morning. Not teaching you, really just sharing with you. And really a whole lot of this has been through trial and error and what works best for these gorgeous babies. So the first thing is about light, all right? Light. That's what they need. They need sunlight. Now, South Africa has a rich diversity of succulents and an amazingly rich biodome. We're like a hotspot in the world. And that means that most of us in any part of our gardens, wherever we are in South Africa, are able to grow them. And that is the biggest thing. You know, when I see people taking or buying a succulent at one of those shops, and maybe that shop begins with a W, I can't say because I probably might get sued, but you know what? They buy a little guy. Okay, let's say you buy, what do you buy? Let's say you buy this guy. Okay, let's say you buy this guy, this little Echeveria. But it's in a nice glass vase, and it's got some gravel around it. And you bought it in the shop, you know, where there's only lights. No, in a supermarket. You take it home, and you think, oh, perfect. It'll do perfectly on my coffee table. But your coffee table's got no natural light. Natural light. And folks, that is the first big cross against that poor plant's name. It has already been read its first line of its obituary. The succulent died through lack of light and a very slow death. How do you know when your succulent hasn't got enough light? Well, it's a word we use in gardening called etiolating. And etiolating basically means the plant is going to get tall. It's going to look tall and lanky. Its leaves are going to get thin and spindly. The joints between them. So when we talk about joints, what am I looking for? Oh, where's it? Okay, let's just use this guy over here. So the actual stem in between them starts getting longer. It's stretching. It's like when a kid has its growth spurt. Your teenage son, between like whatever age that is, they're kind of disproportionate. You know, the arms are longer and they just look a bit lanky. That's what your succulent looks like. Yes, yes. And that's because it's not getting enough light. So light is your first big thing. The next thing is water. Overwatering. We kill them with kindness. I know, you know, we want to really look after them, and we go and we say, oh, shame. Because when it's starting to like fall over, you think, oh, die arme ding, hy soek nog water. So we give it a little bit more. And then it starts drooping even more. And then we give it a little bit more. And in that way, what we're actually causing is it's basically a complete blockage of the plant. The plant cannot cope with that amount of water. Most of our succulents come from the Eastern Cape, some from the really, really high-end Kimberley area where it's dry. It's dry. The Karoo. Think about the Karoo. Gosh, they get 2 drops of rain and they're having a party, you know? So we really, most 99.9% of the time, we're killing these guys because of overwatering. So as a general rule of thumb, if your succulents are outside, getting at least 4 to 5 hours of sunlight a day, then I strongly suggest that from that point of view, you're going to water them twice a week. No more. Anything more than that, you're heading into trouble, guys. Heading into big, big trouble. All right, so that's watering. Feeding. Plants need food, especially if we've got them in a pot and we've got them contained like this. Oh, look at this. Look at this guy. Isn't he lovely? It's like curled up. I think he's called topsy-turvy. This is also an Echeveria, or some people say Echeveria. Echeveria, doesn't really matter. But this guy is the same as this, same family. You see them? Same type of family. You've got those similar rosettes, and you'll start to be able to recognize them as you're going along. But what was I talking about now? Mason, what was I talking about? Oh, feeding. That's what I was talking about. So if they're in a pot, okay, and you're going to have them remaining in here. And this is what I love about them, because they love pots. So whether you're renting a flat, whether you live in an apartment building, you've got a little patio, you can still have plants. And so if they're in pots, and even if they're in the ground, and you want to make sure that you feed these guys. So from a terms of feeding, I like using NutriFeed. NutriFeed is great. It's got a good balance between your nitrogen and your potassium, and they really enjoy this. This I dilute into water, nice and simple, dilute it into water. So when I'm watering them, so I'm also feeding them. And I've got this little guy over here, which I use all the time to water my succulents. It's this little guy here, this little nozzle that I put onto a little 2-liter plastic bottle. And so when I need to water them, and especially with these guys that I know some like a little bit more, some like a little bit less, then you simply just go along and give them a water. And you see how nicely the water comes out. It really, and I'm able to get whatever amount of water I want in here, and really not disturbing the plant at all. So this is a really handy tip. I mix my NutriFeed straight into here. So as I'm watering, so I'm feeding the plants. Okay, makes sense? Right, okay. All right, so that's feeding. You can also use multi-grow, which works incredibly well. I normally alternate, because multi-grow is an organic based. NutriFeed is not. So what I normally do is 1 week I'll use this, 1 week I'll use this, and yeah, there are no real set rules as long as you're feeding them with something. Okay, right. Alrighty, let's go. So we've done position. Okay, you've got that. We've done the light. All right, and we've done feeding, and now we're going to get to the soil. Okay, soil is hugely important, because as we said, succulents come from those dry, arid areas. What soil you put them in is ultimately going to determine how happy they're going to be. All right. So if you up in the Gauteng area, or even somewhere in the Eastern Cape, you probably can get some of this. All right. This is a succulent potting mix. It's brilliant. It's been made especially for you. It's fantastic. It's got some river sand in it. Take a look here. It's got some finely composted bark. It's got river sand in it. It's also got a bit of fine, almost chips of stone. So it's really got good drainage in it. Okay, does it make sense? This works brilliantly for when you're needing to pot them up. If you can't get this, all right, now I had to have this bag couriered from Joburg. True story. But if you don't have this, then what I suggest that you use is this. And this is what I use at home, and it works like a charm. I use pool filter sand. Okay, you know that stuff you put in the pool filter? Yeah, here it is. Take a look there, mate. It's low, it's fine, it's got very sharp edges. You want sharp edges of whatever material you're using, because that supports drainage. Okay, get it? That supports good drainage, because the last thing you want is your succulents, little roots, to be sitting in water. All right, you don't want them to be sitting in water. Now this computer's gone off, and that makes me a bit concerned, but apparently, oh, if I push the mouse, it comes alive. You see, all right. Oh, is watering wormwee enough? No, you can do the wormwee, but I would suggest, because wormwee, you don't actually know what the consistency of it, if it's got N, P, and K, if it's got enough of that. So do your wormwee, but every now and then, maybe once a month, just give it a bit of Vuma with either some NutriFeed or the multi-grow. Okay, so that was from, who was that? That's from Minnie. Okay, so what I use is, let's get back to this. Pool filter sand, you buy it in a big, big bag. You need to take a friend along, tell them you're going for a coffee, which you can't go for today. So you just have a juice in the car, and you give them the juice, because you're going to need them to help you load it in the car, because it's really heavy, and you're going to need to take that friend home with you. Oh, but we're not allowed to do that. Oh, heck. So you take your other half, all right, with masks, and then you take the big bag out, and that you mix with a 50% mix. So it's half potting soil, half of your pool filter sand. That's your mixture. plain and simple. You don't add anything else to it, and you've got one of the greatest mixtures to grow your succulents in. Okay, makes sense. Okay, right. I find banana tea helps my succulents. Well, I've never heard of banana tea. Serious? All right, well, I'm very interested in banana tea. Maybe I'll try that. I've got my coffee here, so just hang tight with me for a bit. All right. So that's your soil mixture that you want to use. You always do want to make sure, guys, that at the bottom of your pot, you're using some grit. Okay, so if we've got a pot like this beautiful terracotta pot, I'm just, look, I'm a sucker. Look behind me. I'm a sucker for terracotta pots. I really am. I love them. I love the consistency. I love the fact that they will never go out of fashion. I also know, and I love the fact that some of these pots were my mom and dad's, and some of them were my brothers, and they're all still with me. And I know that this pot will never, ever disappoint me. It won't break unless I drop it, like I did last week. I broke a pot. Anyway, long story. It's got big drainage holes, all right? And because it's terracotta, it's as good as growing the plant in the ground. Because with terracotta, look, when I add some water to it, okay, see, it absorbs it. Okay, can you see that? Look at that, right in front of you. It absorbs it. So water can move in and out of the pot as the plant and needs it, and as the environment needs it. So, which makes sense. Because if it was in a plastic container, all right, and you overwatered or something, well, then you're in trouble. And that's just one of the other things. And bottom line is, I just love terracotta because it's gorgeous, it's timeless, it's elegant, and they work for me. But at the bottom of each pot, before you plant, you want to put in some coarse drainage pebbles. Now, when we talk about coarse drainage pebbles, I'm actually going to grab a handful. I'm just going down here. And what I normally add is this. Take a close look at this. This is just, building stone. This is a 19 mil building stone. And obviously, if you've got a little pot like this, well, you might want to use a finer grit. You want to use the 7 mil. But if you're going into a bigger pot like this, then just use this. Don't use your fancy stones, please, guys. Don't use those. Your fancy stones, like this beautiful rose quartz. Isn't it lovely? Hey? It's gorgeous. This I use around the top of them because that makes it just so beautiful. I mean, it finishes them off. It really does. And I want to show you here one that I've used. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, wait, I'm going on my phone. So I want to take you on a little walk. Come with me here. Let's see. Are we on? Okay. Oh, here we go. Have a look here. Do you see this gravel here? So this is beautiful. This is just gravel. It's actually gravel that you buy from the pet shop. It's for tanks for fish, goldfish and things. And this is marine gravel, and I just love using it. What I really enjoy is this black. And do you see what it does to the succulent? Look at this little haworth here. Now, let me tell you, this guy is like, I think I might even put like an electric fence around him because he's a really, really special guy of mine because he's got this variegation in it. And he is one of my prized possessions. But look how beautiful the gravel works. It just makes them pop. So take a look around here. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this over here. What happened here? Okay, so if your plants get too tall and lanky, all right, sometimes they do that. They just get too tall and you end up with this big stem and you don't know what to do. Well, nice and simple, get a pair of secateurs and you just chop it. Chop the head off, okay, just like that. And when you've chopped the head off, what will happen is you'll find new little shoots starting to develop all the way around here, and that will be your new plant that'll emerge directly from here. In fact, if you come along with me, we'll come back to him just now. Okay, hold your horses. I'm just going to show you very quickly some of these beauties that are up here. Just look at them. And look at that. Isn't it spectacular? Okay, I want to show you what happens. Okay, I'm going back here. When you've chopped its head off. So this one was chopped off from that plant I just showed you. Okay, he was chopped off about 3 weeks ago. I chopped his head off because you can see his stem is too long. Like, I want to see there. I don't want to see the stem. Okay, that's like not sexy. They're sexy. Okay, and all I do is I take this, and you know those trays that you buy the seedlings in, those little punnets, and I just pop this guy in there, and I leave him there. Leave him. You don't water it. You don't do anything. You leave it in that tray, in that little black punnet. And as I said, this was done about 3 weeks ago, and look what happens. Look at all those shoots. Shoots are starting to push through beautifully. And then what I do is I take this guy and I plant him back. And then we start the process all over again. Make sense? Yeah, isn't it lovely? So I'm nearly ready to plant this guy. And he's done particularly well. Also another type of Echeveria you can see. Spectacular. All right. Okay, right, we've covered that. Propagating we're going to get to just now, but let's see some questions. Okay, where's the beginning? Marine gravel sounds interesting. Yes, you must use the marine gravel. And they're all sorts of different colors. You know, if you really want to go bright and bold, you can put blue, you can put purple. They might give you, fiddle with your head. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. Just go for it. Kavasi, I brought some from wish.com. But I also saw them at a local nursery. Yeah, guys, every garden centre has got beautiful succulents. Oh, and look, I'm getting too excited now. Did you know the garden centres are open? Hoorah! And I want to thank, at this point, and if you guys are watching, the Standing Committee, the Executive Council from the South African Nursery Association, to Heidi Olivier, to Peter Runkel, to all of you guys, to Mr. Paul Fonk, Peter, Pete from Fröner, all of you guys that have been working behind the scenes for hours on end, day and night, for making sure that our government understands what horticulture means to South Africans, and not a few South Africans, to all of South Africa. And because of all your hard work, garden centres have been able to open. And God bless you and thank you for your work. And if you haven't got out to a garden centre, listen, I was itching. When I heard that, I was like there like a bear, because I had to go get my fix. Like I've said, there are a lot of addictions in the world. But buying plants and gardening ain't such a bad one. So if you haven't got out to your local garden centre, get out there, because there are loads of succulents in every garden centre that you can get. Okay, where are we? Let's have a look. Carla, hello. Marisha, hi. I need to go onto another page now. Right, okay, I got that right. Pam from Paulshof, hello. Lee Jansen Stoltz, hello. Minnie, love succulents. Yeah, what's not to love? What's not to love? Saw your succulent collection when you had open gardens. That's dreams, what dreams are made of, from Brenda. Brenda, yeah, I know. And you know, it's a problem. I mean, when I see one, I gotta have it. It's a terrible affliction, actually, but I'm told it's okay by my other half. You know, I do get scolded every now and then, but we just keep on going. All right, I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. Use that one. If you get shouted at, ask for forgiveness rather than permission. Okay, don't tell your children that. All right, Beverly, where can I buy the nozzle? Good question. Bev, you can probably pick this nozzle up at most of your garden centres. They sell them, you'll find them normally like at the counters. They put them in a little bowl or a fish bowl or something. You'll probably be able to get it there. We don't have it on our online shop, but we probably will get it soon. Oh, yes, she's nodding. Yes, we'll have it soon on the online shop. So if you're looking for one, go to tanyavisser.com and you'll be able to find it there. All right, in time to come. Okay, where can I get those tops? Yes, answered that question. All right. Okay, let's go to the next page, because things are going faster than I'm able to keep up with here. Sue from the Karoo. Hello, Sue from the Karoo. I love that place. Man, I love it. You know, you stop on the side of the road when you're driving, and it looks like there's nothing. Nothing. Yet you stop and you just walk. You walk for a couple, just literally a couple of meters, and you stop and you look. And when you look down, you find the beauties. You might think there's nothing there, but there is always something. And that's the special, that beauty of the Karoo. So hello, Brenda from George. Hi there. Lynn is watching. I don't know where you're from, Lynn, but that's okay. Marissa in Pretoria North. Goeiemôre, hoe gaan het? Lee, hello. And Margie, Lynn. Guys, it's so nice to have you all with us. It really, really is. Okay, let's see who else is here. Cherise from Germiston. Tiffany, hi, Tanya. Watching from Joburg with my son and daughter. 7-year-old Sophie is crazy about her succulents. You go, girl, Sophie. And you know what? You can grow more and more and more and more. And you know what's even best, Sophie, is that you can grow them and then you don't have to use your pocket money to go and buy Christmas presents and birthday presents and all those things because you've grown your own. Okay. And that means it's for free. Mahala. Nada. Okay. And I want to show you a quick way that you can grow more. Okay. Have a look here. So, Mace, come in a bit closer here. So this is a leaf that I broke off from an Echeveria. One of these guys. Okay. So it's a leaf. And all I did was, same thing. I took the leaf and I popped it into one of those seedling trays. Okay, popped it in there and I've just left it. Left it. Come along a couple of weeks later and have a look and look what's happening. Miracle. All these little plants are growing from one leaf. Isn't that insane? It's like miracles. And some of you wonder if there is a God. He's right here. This is the miracle. And it's beautiful. So what happens is you let this grow a little bit and then you can plant this whole thing in the soil because this then withers. Because at the moment, these little plants are taking all their energy from this leaf. Okay, this is like the umbilical cord. So it's draining all out of here, getting these little guys to grow. Okay, and then you'll plant it. This will wither away and you'll be left just with that. Isn't that fab? Okay, so Sophie, that's what you're going to be doing. And please send me some pics of some of your succulents. I'd love to see them. Okay. Erica, the one thing you're not killing is succulents. Well done to you. You see, there's hope for every gardener. Alison Lloyd is watching from Singapore. Ellie, okay, I got to digress. You know, I love telling stories. Okay, so last Saturday, it's amazing what COVID has done. And I went to school in the Rundapest many, many years ago, as you can see by this greying hair and lines. And we went to school many, many years ago. And of course, we all lose track. And some people I haven't spoken to literally since I left school. And one of our good friends, one of the friends from the gang at school, her name is Sandra. She was Sandra Reed. She's now Sandra Kinmont. And she decided to get us girls all together on a Zoom meeting. Well, let me tell you. So I thought, okay, 45 minutes, max. We're going to be chatting and wada. And, you know, it's like getting a whole gaggle of geese together. Gaggle of geese. 3 hours later, we said goodbye. Being apart from each other and having little to no contact for more than 20-something years, we all just reconnected like that. And it blew my mind. I get very emotional and quite teary about it because it takes something like a pandemic to bring us all together. And why? It's like it takes a death in the family for all the cousins to get together at the funeral. And how sick is that? We become lazy. We become complacent. And last Saturday just showed me the power of togetherness. And it filled us with so much hope, and we had lots of laughs, and we had giggles, and it was truly so much fun. So Ellie is one of them. Ellie was from our high school. Yes, I'll say the name. We went to Scottborough High School, all of us, down the Saitkus, and we loved it. Hey, best years, absolute best years. Margie, hello, thank you. Sandy, Varshay, no. Where's here, Sandy? Varshay, no. I hope I'm still on your screen, else you pushed the wrong button. Cindy May, how often would you water your succulents that are indoors? Well, Cindy May, I certainly hope that they're in a spot that has lots of light. Remember, like near your kitchen, because kitchens normally are designed to have lots of light. Find those spots and put them as close to the area that they can get as much light. If they're indoors, once a week. That's it. Or once every 7 to 10 days. Nothing more. Okay. Put a reminder on your phone or something, but don't overwater them, please. Rather underwater than overwater. Underwater, they're probably going to enjoy it a little bit more. All right. How much water do we give, Minnie? Twice a week, but the amount of water, it's very difficult for me to answer that, Minnie, because it depends on the pot size. All right. So this little guy's not going to take a lot of water. What I normally say is that, and when I water my succulents, what I normally do is I water, okay? I water, and I'll water until it starts coming out the bottom, okay? Drainage. Remember we spoke about drainage? So you water until the water comes through the bottom. It's now soaked through. You put it there, and that's why it's always good to make sure that wherever you're putting them, that allow them just to drip through. If you've got this indoors on a windowsill or something, and you obviously don't want the water draining through, take it, put it in the sink, give it a good watering, and then move it back when it's finished dripping through. But that's how much you're going to water, okay? All right, Azwe. It can be a shortage of water or more water. Increases nitrogen, get fungal product like turnazole. It's a systemic fungicide. Yes, you're absolutely right. If you find that sometimes you might get some diseases on them, but we're going to touch on that a little bit later. But we don't want to get into that too much now. Planted some speckworm in the office. They look like they're dying off. There seems to be a fungus on the potting soil. No, Karen, that's not going to be a fungus on the potting soil. If you've got your speckworm in your office, that's why it's not happy. It's in your office. Where does speckworm come from? Speckworm comes from the karoo. All right? That's what the elephants eat. They love it. They chomp it. It's like caviar. Think about the karoo. You drive for kilometers. You see? Nothing. That's right. Nothing. Okay? And then all of a sudden you see these little green blobs all over. In that baking hot sun with a couple of mils rain a year, that's what they survive on. So your speckworm needs sun. Okay? Sun. So personally, I'm not even going to tell you what to use. There is something that you can use to kill that white fungus. But honestly, you're fighting, and you're just fighting against nature. Get that speckworm out into a position that's getting lots of light near the windowsill, or preferably out into the beautiful sun where it will live and do very, very happily. All right. Let's get on to another page here. Carol, hello, Carol. Beth from PE, Erica Walker. Carol is back again. She's watching from Chatsworth. Excellent, Carol. Adele, my succulent is dying. What can be the problem? Carol, you're not giving me much to work with here. So I'm going to say it's going to be one of those pointers. That's light, it's too much water, or it needs to get repotted. How do you know when it needs to get repotted? The plant's going to tell you, okay? It's going to start losing health and vitality. Right? Some of the leaves might be starting to dry off and shrivel off. Sometimes the plant gets too tall, right? It starts falling over. That's when you know it's time to move on to size 38 or 40. In other words, a bigger pot, and not stay in that remainder of that little pot. So I don't really know what is killing your succulent, but tell me a bit more about what it's looking like, because it could also just be a scale or a mold, or it could be a powdery mildew. Homanda from Bredesdorp. Hello, Lee Janssen Stoltz. I'm glad you're loving this. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Oh, yeesh. Okay, cancel. See, touchscreen and Tanya. Not a good idea. Okay, let's go to the next thing. Let's have a look what's cooking here. Right, if you've got questions, guys, I want you to fire them through now. Fire through your questions, and then I'm going to do my best to answer them. But hello to everybody. My goodness. Lou from Belito, Anne from the Angola border. Hello, Anne. Lindsay, good morning. Jeanette, Debbie Burton, good morning from Leisure Bay. Hello. Nadine, she's back. Nadine, hello. Nadine de Villiers, Vanessa from Vereniging, and Berenice, I think that's the way to say. What a lovely name. Berenice from Port Shepstone. Hello and welcome. We've got Caleb, good morning. Vanessa, and I've got Leslie from East London. Right, let's get on to the next one. Let's see what's cooking here. Susari, good morning. Leslie, and I've got Sandy from Kaapstad. Hello, hello. And Rose, Ann Atkinson, good morning. Right, we're all here. Guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about diseases, because if they're especially if they're indoors on a windowsill or thing like that, and you don't have a lot of air movement, they can sometimes get diseases. And as I said, the most common ones that you're going to get is a mealybug, scale, and red spider. Okay, so let's talk about red spider. Red spider, how do you know you've got it? Generally, what you see is these little dots moving, and you think you need your eyesight tested because the dots are so small. Those little dots that are moving around on your leaves is actually little spiders. Minute, teeny, weeny, eeny, little spiders. That is called red spider mite. What do? They suck the sap from your plants. Dreadful little things. They reproduce every 3 days. They are dreadful little truckers. Okay? And what happens is they create a web. So very often you'll see a little cobweb like that growing on the leaf and on the underside of the leaf. And red spider is an absolute beast, and you've got to get rid of it very, very quickly. What I like using is some Pest Pro. I don't have it here, but it's in a box like this, and it's called Pest Pro. And basically, it's a biofungicide that you're going to spray on. And this fungus that grows on the leaf eats red spider for breakfast. Yummy. Okay? And it gets rid of your red spider infection. The other thing that you can get is sometimes mealybug. Mealybug you can get rid of with using a general insecticide. You can also just wipe it off. Okay? And that's generally about it that you're going to find problematic on... Oh, and I've got an incoming call. Sorry, I can't take this call now. Should I tell him? No, I'll just push decline. Okay. So those are generally the problems that you get. If you've got scale, folks, what I suggest that you use is a systemic. If you've got scale on your succulents, in a systemic you can use Effectos insecticide granules, which you just sprinkle around the plant. You can use Plant Care. You can use Complete by Protec. And the Complete and the Plant Care, you literally dilute those into water, and as you're watering, so it goes into the soil and then gets taken up through the vascular system of the plant, and in that way actually kills the scale. Okay, nice and easy. Okay, guys, I want to come and show you a beautiful plant. Any tips on starting succulents from seed? Odette? Hi, Nia Wana. No, don't bother. Hell's bells. No, you want to set yourself up for disaster here. Odette, you can grow them from seed, but the seed is so teeny weeny fine. Like even the gurus don't grow it from seed. I mean, lithops. I know of a collector in Joburg, and he's got the biggest lithops collection in the southern hemisphere. In fact, let me tell you the story. He's got 3 collections, the same collections, all on different properties. Why? Because if one property has to burn down or get destroyed, he's got backup for his other 2. So there's an exact replica of these collections around Joburg, Pretoria. I'm not going to give you the GPS coordinates of lithops. Now, what are lithops? Megs, pass me the stone plant here. That guy there. I want to show you what lithops are. They are, oh my God, look at it. Look at it. No. Look at it. They're called stone plants, and I was fortunate enough when we were in the Namaqualand, we stopped near the Knarsvlakte. And the Knarsvlakte, what a beautiful name. And it's called Knarsvlakte because that word Knars is when the wagons, back in the olden days when they had wagons and not Maseratis, when the wagons went over the stone, over the quartz, which is lying around the Knarsvlakte, when it goes over the white quartz, it makes that noise, and that's where the word Knarsvlakte comes from. And lithops grow wild there. What an absolute treat. And you think there's nothing. And you stop and you stare. And then there are these little guys. Now, I know a guy who grows these from seed. But sure, you got to be patient and you got to be really good. So personally, I'm going to say rather just go with the leaf cuttings and work like that. Okay. Hello from Harry's Cottage. Well, hello there, Jonathan. Keegan from Pietermaritzburg. Ek ai mal oor vetplante. Ja, ek is ook mal oor hulle. Môre Tanya, daar word baie keer genoem dat sonlig goed is vir vetplante. Direkte sonlig of net lig. Kan jy asseblief meer lig daar? Meer lig, that's very funny. I even got that. Meer lig daarop werk. Okay. So, yes, light is fine. So when I talk about light, where I'm standing now, there's no direct sun. This is just light. This is sufficient. Direct sun can sometimes burn them, and that depends on the succulent type. So, for that, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a plant, but I'm going to take you on a little jawl quickly. I want to show you, in fact, Mace, I'm coming right close to you. So I'm quickly going to show you Mason. This is Mason behind the camera. Say hello, Mace. Oh, come on, Mace. There you are, there you are. We've got Megs in the background there, and we've got Bianca as well. And I want to show you these guys. Okay, so these are little haworthias. Now, haworthias belong to... a lot of them are indigenous, and they have a lot of medicinal uses. They're also used a lot in spirituality for a lot of tribes. And what it is that the lithops, in fact, listen to me, the haworthias, they can actually grow in quite a bit of shade. So these guys, in fact, in this part of my little succulent house, don't get much sun at all. They just get a bit of light. So it also depends on the type of succulent that you've got. I mean, look at this baby here. Look at him there. He is gorgeous. Look at that color. So, that's kind of like what we're looking at in these. Oh, look at that variegated one. So these guys actually enjoy quite a bit of shade. And the others that actually need loads and loads of sunlight. So, I'm nearly breaking the computer. So it all depends as well on the type of plant, but as a general rule, if you're not certain of what it is, then just put it in light, okay? Lots of light. I hope that makes sense, okay? Everything's still working. I haven't broken anything. No, I haven't broken anything. Okay, let's find another question. Where are we? Let's get to that was Odette, succulents from seed. You see, it's like a reoccurring nightmare. It's coming back to me. And I'm pulling your leg. Okay, let's get to this one over here. Mary, my small blue chalks have gotten brown, stringy pieces all over them. Are they okay? I'm imagining you're talking about a senecio. Okay, because senecio is sometimes known as chalk plants. They're blue. They are literally blue. They grow tall and upright with alternating blue little spikes that come off them. What happens is that really is a true perennial, and it's quite soft. So what happens is it grows, looks beautiful, and then all of a sudden some of the stems will get little black bits on them. They start falling over. Some of them just like literally fall over. And what happens is because the next generation is needing to come through. Okay, so with your blue chalks, and I hope I'm talking about the right plant, is that I recommend that you cut those off. Just cut them off, because you'll find then that by that pruning, you're forcing new growth. And you'll find within a couple of weeks in your pot or in the garden, wherever you've got them, that a whole lot of new ones are going to start pushing through with that beautiful, and it's blue. There's no other way. It's bluey purple. And they should come through, and that'll be fantastic. Okay. We've got an indoor plant question here. No, I will answer that on a WhatsApp on another Facebook question, because we're talking only about succulents today, all right? But I want to take you and I want to show you something over here. A beautiful guy. Come and have a look here. So, look at this beauty. Look at him. Isn't it spectacular? I want to show you the size of him. Look, there's my hand. Isn't he beautiful? And look at these rings here. Look at these concentric rings that just emerge out of here. It is truly beautiful. And here the little flowers starting. Do you see? little flowers that start on the end, and it's got these beautiful rings all the way around. Now, this is a euphorbia. So how do we know what a euphorbia is? So euphorbia is normally when the family that they belong to is if you break the stem, and I don't really want to break the stem over here, but when you break it, there's a milky sap that emerges out of it. And that milky sap is sometimes quite irritating on the skin, and that's the euphorbia family. The euphorbia family is found in every single continent. There's a genus in every single continent in the world except for Antarctica. Interesting fact. And there are hundreds. Oh, hello, Gracie. Hello, my baba. Say hello to everybody. Say morning, morning. Gracie's saying good morning. That with the euphorbias, we have more than 200. More than 28 of the species actually are from South Africa, and it's one of our biggest genus. This little guy over here is called Woodii, and it is spectacular. They're from the Eastern Cape, and they grow on the coastal belt of the Eastern Cape, and I was privileged enough to actually see where these guys grow in their natural habitat, because they are completely spectacular. They're like a miracle. And they love being out in the full sun. They grow right on the coast, almost where the sea air just hits them, and they are flat and prostrate, and they are spectacular. Here's a little Echeveria. He's called Rose Glow, and look at that. That's a pinky purple, beautiful color. Look at him here. I don't really know what his name is, but he looks cute. All right. Look at this one over here. Beautiful hairy leaves. That's lovely, hey? And when they've got the hairy leaves, you generally find that they can actually cope with more sun than others. And the hairy leaves actually help to reflect the sunlight. And you'll probably find that this guy originates from a very hot part of the world. We spoke a little bit earlier about the haworthias. Now, these are different types of haworthias. You can see these long cylindrical types, and we've got these short little guys. Look how nunu it is, short and beautiful. And I'm actually going to take you over here for a quick second to show you. Do you see? So this was one that also got chopped off. So his head got chopped off, and I'm just leaving it in this tray over here. See, here's another one that's head got chopped off, and that's how they live. They just sit in these trays, and then they start putting through roots. Here's some more of these lovely haworthias, and you can see they just get light. They're not getting loads and loads of sun, and they are quite happy. All right, let's move along to here, and we're going to show you some others. Okay. And you see, this is a different size gravel that we've got around them, but it works perfectly well. Perfectly well. Okay, right. Back to you, Mace. All right, let's see if we've got any other questions going on here. Let's get on there. Carol, morning. Who else am I saying good morning to you? Let's move along to there. And Odette. My husband and I are aloe. Penelope, that's first. Let's start off with your name. Penelope, my husband and I are aloe succulent fanatics, also a happy place. My question is, how do we get to mulch compost under the leaves? Okay, that's not the whole of your question, so let's see what the whole of your question is. How do we get to mulch under the leaves when the aloes are 2 meters wide and our beds are fully planted? We have aloe ferox to the small lemon drops. We live on the south coast and would appreciate any input. You know, what I'm going to say to you, Penny, is that if you can't get there, I get it. I mean, you're not going to be going on your hands and knees and like getting poked in the derriere by one of your succulents. If you can't get in there, I get it. But when you're planting, and it sounds like your garden bed is actually quite full. So when you've planted and your plants are close to each other, that planting is actually a form of mulching because you've covered the soil. Does that make sense? If you've got bare soil, that's when you need mulch. And if you've got bare soil, then you're going to find a way. You are going to put it into a bucket and you're going to stand there and you're going to throw it around, or else you're going to find your way through the back of the bed where you can actually use some bark chips or some gravel to mulch around it. Okay, but if your soil surface, if this was my garden bed and we'd planted it up and there was no space, was no bare soil, then that's okay. Even if there were little bits, it's okay. You've done a better job. When I go on and on about mulching is when I see one plant in a bed and just soil, you know, and that's like a big no-no. That is hideously no. All right, so I think you're doing a fine job, so don't stress yourself out, and please do not put your husband in COVID gear, one of those hazmat suits, and send him into the succulent garden. I can see this picture being posted. Oh my gosh. Jill Wilson, hello. Oh, hello, Jill. I'm glad that you're here. Oh my gosh. Who have I got here? Karine from Breedersdorp, loving her fatties. Yeah, they are gorgeous. Hey, they're like little cute kids, like little piggies. They are just too spectacular. Right, let's go to some other questions. What have we got going on here? Let's have a look here. Rayno's question is, with winter around the corner, is it too late to repot deadhead my succulents? No, Rayno, you can do it. You know, yes, they do slow down. Some actually, in fact, only push leaves during the winter months. So as a general rule, I'm going to say no, because I repot right throughout the year. A quick tip on repotting. Let me put this guy way over here. When you are repotting and you've got any cactus, so one of these beasts, okay, like this is also called a mother-in-law's chair. You get why. Okay, so when you got to transplant these guys, I mean, this is hell. And this is really can be difficult. And many of you have poked your fingers, and it's amazing how one of these little thorns can hurt you so much. So what I suggest is you get your briar tongs. They're not using for chop today. And you grab the succulent or your cactus, squeeze, and you're going to see what's going to happen. And then give it a bit of a jig, and then out it comes. And that is how you're going to transplant your cactus, okay? Don't try and grab it, please, because somebody is going to get hurt. And as they say, somebody is going to end up in tears. So rather use that, but yes, definitely transplant. You can do it, especially if they've clustered, you know, if you've got too many. And a good example would be this beautiful Echeveria elegans. It's got too big for this pot now. It really is time for it to move on. And there are various ways that you can do it. Of course, I love using these things, okay? Watch here. Watch. This is my party trick, okay? 3, 2, 1. You see it grows. All right, so this is fantastic. These are actually my terrarium tools, but I love using them when I am in my little succulent house here, because if I need to get to a pot that's like over there, I can just take my little spade thing and I can get inside here. I love using those. I also love using these tongs, all right, like really big tweezers. Okay, not for facial hair, no. They're better to be used. These are actually bonsai tweezers, and you can get them from any bonsai shop. But I love using them for weeding, because if you get in and you've got weeds in between your succulents, generally you damage the plant. 9 times out of 10, if you're trying to get in there with a big fork or a big spade, like a normal gardening tool, you're going to hurt something. You're going to damage the plant. So rather use tweezers. You can go in. You can grab the weed, you can follow the weed all the way down, get its root, okay, and then pull it out without actually getting pricked, getting poked, getting maimed and bleeding all over your succulents. All right, does that make sense? I want to show you very, very quickly here how we're going to take off one of these, because I know we're running out of time. Yes, I see the timekeeper is waving her hand at me, so I take this little guy over here, okay, take the little spade, all right? Take the little spade, you can pop it in here. You can, of course, take this whole thing out. But if I just want to remove one baby, just one baby, okay, then you simply take this little spade, pop it in there, loosen the soil around it. Okay, loosen it. Here we go. All right. And you push it in there and you can actually feel that I've just removed it from the mother plant. And there it is. So it's got roots. That's where I removed it from the mother plant. Right. Take away these bits over here. These are the dead leaves. Two things you can do now. One, you can either leave it like that. And when we leave it like that, what happens is scar tissue develops. A very perfect example is over here. This is scar tissue that is developed. So it's dried. Okay. It's dried over here. And then where there's scar tissue, it then pushes roots above that. The other thing that you can do is you can take a bit of hormone powder like this. All right, hormone powder. And when you're using the hormone powder, I'm not going to decant it now because once you've decanted it, you never put it back. All right, and you always put it into a separate little container, but that'll be another whole talk. Dip that into some hormone powder, the end, and then plant it into your succulent mixture. And you're good to go. All right. Another thing that I like feeding the outside plants with. So I'm talking outside, like my big aloes, cactus in the main garden. I use this over here. And of course, this is Atlantic Bio Ocean. Atlantic Bio Ocean looks like rabbit food. It's not rabbit food. This is a good all-round, good plant food. And it's got seaweed in it. It's got chicken litter in it. And let me tell you, yes, the Yorkies will eat some of it, but my Yorkies have not turned into Rottweilers yet. And they are still 100% safe and sound because it's an organic product. They are not going to get harmed. All right, guys, we're getting towards the end. I'm being told I'm needing to wrap up. But thank you all so much for joining us here today. I want to tell you all, please, you saw the advert that played at the beginning of the session. Our June magazine, yes, you heard right, hallelujah, praise the Lord. Our June magazine is ready for you to download. We've spoken to you that we haven't been able to print. We are looking at doing a few copies of the June issue, which would be available from your local garden center. But with the COVID rules, it still is very uncertain. So what we've done is we've put our June magazine in an e-mag format for you on the Gardener website. Please, guys, please, I beg you, go on there and support us. The selling of our magazines that you guys so loyally purchase every single month is the basis of our business. I can't do these things without you. And we won't have a gardening magazine without you. So please go and download it. I know you're going to need to click a few things and you're going to need to pay a little bit. But in that way, we will be here for you for a long time. Not only the 18 years that we have been doing this, but I hope for another 18 years. Thank you all so much for joining us. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and most importantly, God bless you all and happy gardening. Thank you. See you next Thursday. Hi guys, I'm Tanya Visser from the Gardener and Detainee magazines, and have I got some COVID-19 therapeutic relief for you. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to print your favorite gardening magazine, but relax, we've got a plan. The Gardener and Detainee magazines are now available online. Simply visit thegardener.co.za and follow the easy prompts to have your June edition digitally delivered to your inbox. Whether you're a seedling in gardening or a gardening guru, get all the latest gardening inspiration, how-tos right at your fingertips. And get even more gardening for less with our bumper June combined digital issue. And that, folks, is gardening therapy at your fingertips.